Hello? Audrey, what are you doing? Yes, I know you've been with Aflac like 25 years. Yes, I know about that group. You've had it for like 10 years. You did what? The best Aflac presentation you've ever done? How? The CFO for the first time ever signed up in the back of the room? And you went from writing what you thought was going to be a couple of policies to $10,000 more in a 10-year-old group? Tell me more. So that's a real phone call that I got just a few years ago from one and only Audrey Schreiber out of Colorado Springs, Colorado. Hi, Audrey. Audrey's one of my favorite Aflac agents in the whole company. She's an amazing 20-plus year veteran. And when she called and shared that story with me, it made my heart burst with pride because it was just earlier that same week that I had taught my team about Jack and Jill selling and how to give the best Aflac employee presentation they have ever given or ever would give. And Audrey took me at my word, went out to a group that was a many year old group and presented Jack and Jill, and instead of writing a couple policies that she was used to at every open enrollment, she wrote more than $10,000 in that group. And if you stick around, I'm going to show you exactly what she did and how you can do the same thing in the field today. Now, if you got time, I'm going to give you one more pro tip. Okay, so check around to the end of this video. I'm going to help you understand how to use Jack and Jill in a group education environment, a group employee presentation that will blow your mind. Jack and Jill. All of you know the story. All of you are familiar with the nursery rhyme. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his... And so you know how the nursery rhyme goes. That's the beauty of this particular story. Now, quick plug for you. If you haven't already watched the video I did, 3 numbers to know to cause your business to explode, we've linked that video somewhere in this one. Go watch 3 numbers to know to explode your business. When you take that video and you combine it with this video, you are going to be explosively more profitable inside of your pipeline than otherwise. So, Jack and Jill, how do you use it to help you in an employer conversations? How do you use it at the actual employee education meetings? It is so incredibly simple to understand the power in Jack and Jill because of what just happened. I didn't even tell you what we were doing, and you immediately were able to sing along with me. You knew the nursery rhyme. You knew what Jack went up the hill for. You knew what the outcome of Jack going up the hill for. Contrast that with any other story you've ever told, trying to show the need or provide the value or explain how your Aflac product works. Think about the difference in what just happened. Without me even telling you what we were doing or why we were doing it, you knew the story. In any other environment where you're trying to use a claim story or you're trying to use a real life experience, while they hold merit, they're good to have in your back pocket, they will never compete with a story where the entire audience immediately understands and knows the story. I want to let that sink in for a minute. The reason Jack and Jill is so incredibly powerful is because everybody knows it. And then you use a story that everybody already knows, they're already incredibly familiar with, to simply help establish the need for what your product actually does. Now, it's this easy. Here on your screen, you see our Jack and Jill PDF flyer. We've created this flyer. We use this today in our decision maker meetings. We use this same flyer in our employee education meetings. We use the Jack and Jill flyer for everything. Everything I train is Jack and Jill based selling. There's one reason why. It's super simple. On the left, you got Jack, and on the right, you got Jill, or I don't know what your screen is. I may have did that backwards, but Jack and Jill are on there, and here's the magic of it. Look at it. On one side, you've got an outcome, same exact story, same accident, same circumstance. They both went up the hill. They both fell down. They both broke their ankle. But there were 2 very different outcomes, weren't there? And then at the end of the outcome, here's how hard it is. So, Mr. Person looking to enroll, my question is very simple. Would you rather be Jack or would you rather be Jill? So, Mr. Business Owner, do you want to offer your people benefits like Jack, or do you want to offer benefits like Jill? That's how hard it is. People go, oh, I get it. I know the story. I saw the story. I saw the outcome of the story. It's easy. I would rather be Jack. I would rather be Jill. Whichever story you told determines which person they want to be. It's that unbelievable simple. The better you get at telling the Jack and Jill story, and here's the magic in what I mean by you getting better at telling it, the better you get at telling it means you're not the one telling it. Then who tells it? I don't know. You tell me. That's right. They can tell the story. Why can they tell the story? Just like I did with you. Jack and Jill went up the hill. Jack fell down and broke his. As you go through that, people are visually understanding and knowing what's happening, and then you give the outcomes, and the call to action, or the question is, would you rather be Jack or would you rather be Jill? Couple of pro tips for you, just a couple pro tips for you. The payouts on the actual PDF don't matter. We're not using it to sell a product, we're using it to sell a concept. We're using it to help them understand through the situation, through the story of Jack and Jill. The story's the same, the outcome is different. I don't care what products you plug in there. All you're selling is the concept, not the actual product solution. Does that make, I'm asking if it makes sense, like you're gonna be able to answer me. So please get your head wrapped around that. Number two, second big thing I want you to understand about Jack and Jill selling is it works in any environment. Whether you're with a decision maker, or you're in a group presentation with employees, or you're on a one-on-one education with employees, people do not move forward. They don't give you a yes. They don't move forward unless they see need. If they see need, they're more likely to continue moving forward in your sales process with your yeses, okay? Jack and Jill helps you get easy, simple yeses because it's so dang simple to understand. All right, at the beginning of this video, I promised you that if you stuck around, I was going to help you understand how to use Jack and Jill in a group education environment or a group presentation environment. Here's how fun employee education meetings can become if you use Jack and Jill as the anchor for that meeting. When your meeting begins, when you're up on stage, you're getting ready to talk, here's what I want you to try to do on your very next employee presentation. Do not change anything else you're doing in your presentation other than this. When you get up to present your turn to present, I simply want you to greet your audience and ask them, is it okay with you if I tell you a story on exactly what we do and how we work? And people are going to go, sure. Hey, I need 2 volunteers from my audience real quick. 2 people that could help me out really quick. It's simple. And generally speaking, you'll get a volunteer because the peer group in the room will pick on the one who's always loud and obnoxious. And when they pick on that person, they say, call Steve. Hey, Steve, will you do me a huge favor, man? Will you come up here and help me real quick? Sure. Give it up for Steve, everybody. Steve, woo! Steve's coming up. I need one more volunteer. You look like you could help me out. What's your name? My name's Mary, but I'm not coming up there. Give it up for Mary as she's coming on up. Mary comes up. Steve and Mary are now up here. Jack and Jill. Okay? This is so stinking fun. You've been on stage in front of your room for not even 60 seconds. Not even 60 seconds. And within 60 seconds, you're doing something inside of an insurance presentation they have never seen before. 100% of the audience has now got their cell phone down. They're off Instagram. They're not looking at Facebook. They're looking at the front of the room, which means when you control the room, you control the outcome. There's so much gold I just packed into that one little sentence. Some of you are going to have to rewind and watch that again. Jack and Jill are in front of the room, and then you set the meeting up with, hey, Steve, man, I appreciate you coming up here. Mary, thank you for coming up here. I'm going to dub y'all real quick, Jack and Jill. You guys know how it goes. Everybody help me out. Now, here's the thing, Jack, Jill, you guys got to help me out. You have to actually act this out so that the audience who will understand. So can y'all do that? All right, audience, help me out. Jack and Jill went up the hill. Jack, you're not even moving, bro. Climb up the hill. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. And they're doing whatever they're doing. Jack fell down. Okay, don't go all the way down. Just take a knee. Jack fell down and broke his crown. I have no idea how to pay for a broken crown, so broke his ankle. And Jill came tumbling after. All right, guys, give it up for Jack and Jill. Woo! That whole thing will take less than 60 to 90 seconds. All in. The 100% of the audience has their cell phone down. 100% of your audience is paying attention to you. 100% of your audience just engaged
with your meeting, you've probably never had 100% of an audience pay attention to every single word coming out of your mouth, thanks to your story and the interaction from it, and it's a story that the audience told. Boy, let that sink in. So stinking powerful. Give it up for Jack and Jill. All right, Jack fell down and broke his crown. Here's the thing, y'all. Everything I'm going to talk about over the next several minutes, it doesn't matter if I'm going to go into straight mode with you, okay? Doesn't matter to me if Jack did not get the benefits we're going to talk about today. Jack chose not to enroll, and that is okay. Everything I'm going to talk about over the next several minutes, if y'all don't see the value in it, you don't see the need in it, it's not going to benefit you and your family, don't buy it. Don't enroll. It's completely voluntary, okay? Jack chose not to. Thank you, Jack. Jill chose to. Now, they both got hurt in a accident. Good job. The first plan that I'm going to tell you about is our most popular plan. It protects you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, on and off the job. This is our accident policy. They both got hurt in a accident. Jill, help me out. I need one more volunteer. Jack, just hold still for just a second. I need one more volunteer. You do not have to come up front. Perfect. Hey, thank you so much. What's your name? My name is Laurel. Laurel, get your cell phone out. Open up your calculator app. I need you to run some calculations for me. High tech. Now, here's the little pro tip for you. This is the reason you do this. When you tell one person to get their cell phone out and run calculations for you, 7 more will also. So now you got half of your audience also very engaged by paying attention to every word that comes out of your mouth. Jill, you got hurt in an accident, you fell down, you went and sought medical treatment somewhere, anywhere, don't care where. You could have went to a doctor, a clinic, a chiropractor, your primary care physician, the ER, Doc in a Box, CVS Minute Clinic. I don't care where you went. I only care that you went because you got hurt in a, that's right, accident. So here's your money for getting hurt for seeking treatment due to the accident, $120. And the first thing they did to you is they ran a diagnostic exam, $200 for the diagnostic exam. And they said, uh-oh, you blew your ankle out, or you tore your meniscus, or you blew your knee, or whatever the diagnostic says. Here's $625 for the torn meniscus. And you're going to have some crutches to help you get around. Here's a couple $100 for crutches, and here's money for follow-ups, here's money for physical therapy, here's money for this, here's money for that, here's your money, 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 through the story of Jack and Jill. All right, Laurel, how much money is Jack and Jill, how much money has Jill got in her hand right now? $3,200. Perfect. $3,000 in her hand right now. Jack, you also had to go seek medical attention. What did we give you? Nothing. Now, Jack still has insurance through the company or through his spouse or wherever Jack has insurance through. So Jack's insurance did whatever Jack's insurance was going to do. We just didn't pay anything to Jack because Jack chose not to enroll. Make sense to everybody? Jill also has insurance or has no insurance or has it through her spouse or doesn't have it through her spouse. Doesn't matter. We don't look to see what Jill's other insurance did or did not pay. We just pay. How much? Well, in this instance, $3,200. Jill, if you had, let's just pretend you had a $3,000 deductible that you guys have at this company. How much do you have to, can you use your $3,200 to help pay your $3,000 deductible? You can, absolutely. And if you've already met your deductible because something else happened, what can you do with your $3 grand? You nailed it. Bottom line point, whatever you want. Buy groceries, pay rent, buy food, child care, gas in your car. Gas in your car won't go very far right now, but you get my point. Like, do whatever it is you need to do for you and your family. It's your $3,000 you choose. Does that make sense to everybody? Give it up for Jack and Jill one more time. Give it up for our calculator on Laurel. Give it up. Then, pro tip. If you're doing this with Aflac, throw out a little keychain Aflac duck, throw out a pin, give something of very insignificant value away to say thank you to your audience. People are clapping, everybody's engaged. What did I do through that very short story of Jack and Jill? I engaged my audience like crazy. They're paying attention to every single word I say because their peers are in front of the room. Number 2, we made the story incredibly simple to understand because it's a story everybody understands. And number 3, through the storytelling that I just did right there, you learned that it's 24 hours a day. I told about some of the features and advantages of owning this product without going through the brochure, without going through bullet points of the stupid product. We used the story to set up the product. I hope that y'all caught the power in that. Go back and watch that part over and over and over again if you find value in it, okay? Now watch how you transition. You're probably now 4 to 5 minutes into your meeting. Jack and Jill are up here. Audience is leaning in hard. You need to learn to say this next. Like raise your right hand and say, Zach, I promise I will try this on my next employee presentation. Do everything I just showed you to open up the meeting. Your transition statement, once Jack and Jill go sit down, you throw out the ducks or whatever you're going to do. You say, guys, here's the problem. Y'all, if you're from Texas, you can say, y'all, here's the problem. If you're a Yankee, you say, you guys, here's the problem. If you're from Louisiana, I don't know what you say. I can't understand most of what y'all say. But the point is, y'all, here's the problem. Where's my marker? Like, I want you to get so stinking comfortable with this word, problem. This is so fun. Because here's the thing. When you get done doing what I just taught you to do, your audience is going to lean in harder than you've ever seen an audience as a whole leaning in. They're leaning in hard, okay? And because they're leaning in so hard, there's this little bitty voice climbing into some of the back of their heads, and they're going, but you can't afford it. You're broke. You can't do it. So you want to call that fear out right here. Hey guys, here's the problem. Most of you maybe were wondering like, hey, that sounds great. That sounds amazing, but how much does it cost? So my question to you, hey Jill, how much do you think was coming out? Y'all are paid bi-weekly, right? Every other Friday kind of thing? How much is coming out of your paycheck every 2 weeks so that you could have this coverage? How much? $37. No. Anybody else? 62. Nope, wrong way. Go down. 17. 1732. Give it up for, who are you? Mary. Give it up for Mary. $17 is what comes out of your paycheck bi-weekly for you to be protected like Jill was. 24/7, 365, on or off the job. If you want to add your kids to that, you can add your kids, covers them from sports and all the other nonsense that kids do. A family coverage for everybody's like $32. Very simple. Do you see how easy it is to walk people through that? Now, I don't want to get into, oh man, I wish I had more time to get into advanced training with you, but bottom line point is you'll watch what happens. Then I'm going to do a future training called the value gap, and your minds are going to explode. Because when you understand how the story of Jack and Jill helps establish the need for the product that you have, your job is to sell the concept of the product, not the solution of the product itself. Don't open up brochures. Don't go line by line. Don't draw circles and tell them about crap. Don't tell them emotional claim-based stories. When you use Jack and Jill, watch what happens. Just watch. Go. You'll take it to the field and let the boss tell you whether or not it likes this model. Okay? The problem is, some of you are sitting there thinking, yeah, this sounds great, but how much does it cost? Problem cost. How much does it cost? Get that objection eliminated right here, right now. Because guys, if you're paying attention to me, we're no more than about 6 to 7 minutes into our employee presentation, and they are hook, line, and sinker ready to go. Now, most of you will screw this up, and then you're going to go into 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 more products, and you're going to go deep dive on those products, and you're going to bore the crap out of people, and people that would say yes are now saying no because they're drooling out of their mouth going, when is this meeting going to end? So here's how you end your piece of the meeting. Guys, that's it. That's how we work. That's what we do. All of our programs are designed to do exactly that. All of our programs pay the cash benefits directly to, that's it, you. We've got another program we're making available here. We're doing short-term disability for you guys. We like to call it Paycheck Protection Insurance. It's really simple to understand. If your paycheck is necessary to pay your bills, you should probably have insurance on that paycheck like most of you have insurance on your cell phone. That's how simple it works. If Jill here got hurt in that accident, we paid her $3,000 because of all of the crap she had to do. Then we give her another $2,000 for the month she's off work if she had a $2,000 disability. Okay? If you want a disability quote, see me. It's just as affordable as the accident policy I just told you about. The point is that everything we do here is a la carte. You find what makes sense for you. You find what makes sense for your budget. Only buy what makes sense to you. If it doesn't make sense, don't get it. Here's the interest form. We'll see you back tomorrow, 10 o'clock in the morning, conference room B. Thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate you. Tomorrow morning, conference room B. Be sure to hand me your information packet, or your interest sheet, so I can give you a packet. See you tomorrow. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that was incredibly helpful for you. Ninja Nation, I'm so excited, man. I cannot wait to see the success stories come in from this. I know how powerful Jack and Jill is. Get out in the field and use it. Then go to freeninjatraining.com, download our free resources, share a story, send us an email. We want to hear back from you. Adios, everybody.